to opportunities and challenges in migrating the AI first tool. Legacy systems like RPA and traditional CRMs long been the backbone of business operations, but as AI first models take center stage, the shift just isn't about upgrading, it's about rethinking really our entire approach to this. So our next panel is going to explore what it really takes to move from workflow-driven systems to intelligence-first systems. What are the biggest integration hurdles? How do companies manage change effectively? And probably most importantly, how can they unlock AI's full potential for better ROI, efficiency, and innovation? Fantastic panel here to break it down for us. First of all, the global data governance at Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, Vijay Jaka. Are you here? There we go. Come on up, sir. There you go. You got one big fan. That sounds great. All right. Anupam Patanayak, Head of Enterprise Data Science and AI Regions Bank. Syed Sharif, Senior Director Data and AI at Hollister Inc. How are you? Nice to have you here, Syed. And my easiest name of the day, Sean McCarthy, Vice President Analytics at Good Sam. Come on up here, Sean. There he is. And our moderator of this session will be the Chief Data Center Officer at Mostech, David Roberts. Come on up, David. I got a microphone right up here for you. All right. Here we go.
Now and a very late breakfast, right? Okay, so the topic this morning, just to restate it, opportunities and challenges in migrating to AI-first tools. So it sounds a bit like Tales from the Trenches, right? My name is David Roberts. I'm the Chief Data Center Officer at Mastech. Key point there, we've got a room full of Chief Data Officers. I'm a Chief Data Center Officer, okay? So as opposed to a data guy, I'm more of a, key word there is center. I build data centers, and we're focused very much on power and infrastructure, which you all know is going crazy because of AI. We have an esteemed panel, so thank you. I don't think I need to introduce you all again because our moderator did a fantastic job with all that training from his comedy club training, so he did a good, you're a natural. Okay. So I thought we'd structure this in 3 simple questions. Strategy, process, outcomes. Okay? So why don't we start here, Sean, right, and work our way across. I mean, what's the strategy, right? Why are you doing this? What are the drivers inside your business?
Yeah, for us, strategy, I think like a lot of people, you don't have to get a board's approval anymore. They're the ones pushing. Everything has to be AI. It's magic. Didn't you hear? All the salespeople tell me it's magic. It just works out of the box. And so, to me, the strategy is actually fine-tuning the actual working cases that you can deliver rewards on and benefit from, instead of just throwing AI at everything and seeing what sticks. So from an actual, I want to return proper revenue, focus on where you can actually drive real change due to AI, right? Whether it's going back to the RPA days and enhancing it a little bit with LLMs, and on the cost side, or it's how you can take advantage on the revenue side to better predict things or better interact with your customers or provide faster interaction touch points to your customers so that they can get in touch with you in a more efficient way. From a workforce management perspective, the strategy has to be, and I think we heard this in the last panel, they're using it whether you know it or not. So you need to get an enterprise capability. If you don't want anything going in to the model that's public, get an enterprise edition of whatever it is. I don't care, pick your flavor now. Why? Because otherwise they're 100% putting all of your company data into the public model because it's helping them do their job faster. Yeah. And you're not on board. You're too slow. So I don't care, pick your flavor, get it done now. get an enterprise agreement out there and give the tool to the people and say, hey, we're going to lock down every instance of the tools that is not the enterprise SSO version, but get that done immediately.
That's a really good point. Think about responding to RFPs and you get like 30 questions and a couple of them you're completely perplexed. Boom, there's the answer right there, right? How about you, Saeed, at Hollister?
Yeah, first of all, Sean, I loved hearing from you and love those points about embracing, because it's going to be embraced one way or another. So just a quick introduction to Hollister. It's not the jeans, but we are a med tech company. Believe it or not, it's a 100-year-old plus company, probably a well-known kept secret. I always tell everybody I meet, hopefully none of us here ever have to use the products that we make. It's ostomy bags, continence care, like catheters, and critical care stuff. But if, God forbid, that a situation ever happens that us or our family members have to use it, Hollister product is the product that you want to use. We're based here in Libertyville. And I bring that up because we are a product company. And so when we look at our strategy, like Sean said, I mean, we're all in. And we're looking at it from two different aspects. One is, what are some short-term wins that we can have from enabling Copilot to the whole organization and letting them not just have a glorified search, but doing some agentic quick win type use cases that people can see value in right away. But now from a product side, what are some cooler things that we can do? And maybe we'll talk about this a little later as well, but we're doing some things like digital twin for our product. I've been here only 5 months, but I've gotten a chance to visit our plants, and I see how long the R&D process is to be able to come up with products and different prototypes. It's a very, very long process. And we're using AI in our manufacturing and R&D process to create digital twins, which will hopefully accelerate that cycle and get our products out much sooner. And so those are some of the longer term use cases that we have that we are executing on. And we're hoping that by having some quick wins, we appease those that want to have something out there right away. But at the same time, we're thinking long term about the company, how we can be better, how we can continue to have the best product out there. And of course, I'd be amiss sitting with some experts in data analytics without saying that our data has to be right? Like our data foundation has to be right. And so that's a key focus of ours as well. Thank you.
So digital twins, really interesting, quick wins. You pick up the McKinsey book, first, second chapter, get a quick win. How about you, Anupam? Regions Bank.
Yeah, so good morning. It's great to be here. So let me do a little bit of background on Regions Bank. Not sure if everyone knows what that is. So it's a Southern bank. Believe it or not, it's a Fortune 500 company based out of Birmingham, Alabama. And I think the overall strategy of, you can call it AI first, which includes migration to the cloud, started about a year ago, then I joined, and I'm a little over a year in the company. I think one of the great things that you get when you work for a conservative Southern bank is everything is structured. So I obviously got some of that. I think if you look into the overall strategy for the company, this was not just a software upgrade or a technology upgrade. I think the real promise there was, can we reimagine how banking can be done, let's say 3 to 5 years from now? I think the key tenets of that, one was, can we be more predictive in every decisions that touches our customer base? Can we bring hyper-personalization in everything we do? And the third thing was, how can we make some of these decisions much more proactive and much more ingrained, you can call it real-time or near real-time. So, your customers are not really asking for it. It's available to them as a menu so they can take it whenever it makes sense for their life journey, right? Now, if you go below, like what are some of the things we had to do to enable that? I think the structured approach that I was talking about began with first the recognition that data is the key. So you actually have to find a way in which you can move the data to the cloud, but do it in a way where data is a driver of the engine, it's accessible to everyone. So a lot of focus was on how do we bring all of the existing data from the different data sources into the cloud, but do it in a way where all of the models and all of the decisioning is, I think, centrally located, but also accessible to all of the platforms that you need. So, and then the second important thing that comes with a regulated environment is you have to do this in a way that's very visible and transparent to everyone, and not only the employees, but to some of the vendors you're working with, the regulators that we have to report every quarter. So how do we do? So a lot of the, I would say the second phase before you onboarded a lot of the new generation of Gen AI was how do you build the right frameworks and right governance structures that can improve that transparency, not only inside the company, but outside to the regulators as well. And the third part, I think, which was done very well is you don't want to take giant steps. You have to take the most meaningful steps that gives you that background so you can build and scale upon that. So there was a good prioritization for us. I think risk is a key part. So I think a lot of focus was, can we look into the fraud side? Can we look into things such as how we solve our data centers or customer service needs? And so some of the embedding of the generative AI that we have done has gone into that. So it builds some of the confidence, you get your workers and your employees got more ingrained into not only the use, but adoption in your everyday life before you build and scale some of those embedded into your current products. So that's been the strategy. I think we are probably, I would say, to use a baseball analogy, I will say with the top of the third innings right now. But I think there's a lot of pathway moving forward, but it's been a very exciting journey. The key is how, if you are failing, fail fast, learn from those experiences and move forward.
Good stuff. I love that term, hyper-personalization. How about you, Vijay?
Yeah, hi. By the way, I'm with MetLife, not Southern Spirits. As was introduced, that was a previous gentleman sitting here. Yeah. Anyway, with the, I guess following up on the AI strategy, I agree with everybody here on the panel. Take those, the quick wins, the low-hanging fruits that AI can provide value with, right? The fundamental or the basics of those aspects were, worker productivity, knowledge retrieval, workflow automation, right? Those are the basics. And then you could advance to the next level, maybe like, conversational AI with chatbots on your domain-specific, with your domain-specific knowledge or domain-specific information. And on the data front, he was alluding to, trying to bring all the data to the cloud. I think we can look at the advancements in data, for example, like the data fabric architecture that allows you to have a good understanding of what kind of data you have and where it resides, and to a certain extent avoid the need to move and clone the data again and again with that understanding of with that intelligence of where the data exists and what kind of data exists, and that way you'd be able to I guess use data virtualization process and then be able to serve through your agents of what is required for you. Okay. So beyond those, the quick wins or the low-hanging fruits, I would say, and of course vibe coding is another thing that could be used. Beyond that, I would say from a strategy perspective, get your AI governance in place. Everybody wants a strategy, everybody wants to play with the low-hanging fruit. Like, Sean was mentioning earlier, get an enterprise version of it ready. If not, your people are going to put all the data, all your organization's data into the foundation models that are available out there, right? So you don't want that to happen. So you want to have the governance in place, the guardrails in place from the get-go, from the beginning. The significance of governance, right? When you're doing data governance or you're doing model governance from analytics perspective, that's to some extent. But now, when you're doing AI and trying to put governance on it, that's the increases the level or the impact significantly. So you've got to have that in place. So,
okay,
yeah.
Perfect. Data governance. Look, next part, process. So, how do you tackle the beast, right? Do you do a pilot? Have you got consultants running around all over your organization? I saw a quote the other day, the ugly truth, whether this is true or not, 95% of AI pilots fail, okay? So, who feels like going first on process at a real high level? We could spend hours on process, but at a real high level, how do you tackle it? You want to, whoever's ready.
I can go first. I think it probably preempted the question a little bit by talking to the process. But I think to directly acknowledge that the 95% failure, look, failure is inevitable. I think one of the interesting things that's happened with us, we were probably sitting on the sidelines too much, although even as a regional bank, I think our traditional AI, if you think of in machine learning, deep learning, NLP, I think we had that all embedded into the core products for the company, which was the good part. The not so good part was we were taking too long into embracing some of the new Gen AI and make it more readily accessible within our work environments. I mean, I think someone said that so rightly, like whether you like it or not, your employees are using it on your phone, right? I think so. The question was, how do you enable that while not risking some of the other vulnerabilities that might come with it? I think a key tenet of that is start small, make meaningful investments. You will fail, but when you fail fast, take the learning, reiterate, and retry. I think what happens is if the company says that failure is costly to us and therefore we don't try, then you stop innovation. So as a data science and AI leader, that's one of the things I've been preaching to some of the business leaders that I have to work with, get their funding to start some of the projects. So one of the things has been education, I would say, is what are some of the applications that are low risk, high reward, but I think will build the culture. I think one of the things I firmly believe on is you will need technology and people to succeed. Those can be bought, but what you cannot buy is the culture. So culture needs time to be developed. And the way you build culture is to make it more ingrained into your employees. So I'll keep it this way. It's been a slow but steady journey, but it has been building the right infrastructure, identifying the right use cases, explaining and prioritizing a value-based adoption method, and then slowly working the way up. Once you have a success, make sure that success is very well publicized to all of the other leaders so some other people can raise their hands. I also want that. And then you slowly move the chain up. Obviously, in a regulated environment, that's the process you have to follow. So patience and moving your way up is the process that I have followed.
Good. Yeah, you go for it, Sean.
Yeah, the 95% makes me laugh. The best baseball hitters are bad most of the time. These projects didn't fail. Their goal was a lie from the start. They probably actually gained a lot of progress in their infrastructure, in their data foundations, in finding out, oh wait, we were not ready for what we were attempting. All the data was garbage. Or it was great for that one use case that we built 10 years ago and was capable of solving that problem. Now that we want it to do all this other magic AI stuff, oh wait, it's not interrelated to anything else in our corporation and there are no hard joins, everything's a fuzzy match. Even Gen AI can't overcome a fuzzy match because it's just gonna hallucinate fuzzy bullshit. So I doubt it's really failure. So I think what you said was dead on. Start small with things you can manage, make the goal something reasonable, and if you're concerned about, I don't know if our data is ready for it, because that's a lot of companies' problems, is we don't know if our internal data is ready for it, fine. Focus on the parts of your company where you don't need your internal data to be great. Take advantage of what Gen AI is really good at, public data. Your competitors, public data. Their websites, public data. Everything going on in the coding world, public data. Everything going on in the news world that could be impacting stock prices, that could be impacting futures and equities and all the other things, public data. Take advantage of Gen AI and that type of tooling for those types of use cases, focus there, and you'll probably get plenty of quick wins.
Good stuff. Yeah, quick wins, start small rather than kind of get embroiled in complexity and then you drown. How about we move to the next question? Outcomes, and I'll look to you, Saeed first, and then Vijay. Are you seeing any results? You know, are your finance company happy because you're reducing costs, right? Back office. Is your marketing group happy because you're getting closer to your customers, right? That's, you know, I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but how do you see outcomes?
Definitely. I mean, I'll go back to starting with quick wins, right? There are small things out there. I think right when, you know, this Gen AI craze started, and whether it was ChatGPT or whatever else, companies reacted, shut it down. I'm pretty shocked right now that so many companies are still shut down and have not opened it up. I mean, we're missing out on a huge opportunity there. And I embrace the ones that said, okay, fine, let's bring it within our own tenant. Let's open up Copilot or ChatGPT, whatever it is. I mean, we are missing out big time if we are not enabling our employees to use that and embrace that. Because they're doing it anyway. I think Sean mentioned in the beginning, they're doing it, and the risk you run is your IP is going out there instead of staying within your own tenant. So quick wins for sure. Beyond that, out there, almost every SaaS product that we have is coming with its AI portion of the product as well. So that's where governance becomes a big key as well. And again, those can be quick wins as well. Like whether it's I don't know, ServiceNow, ITSM that has its chatbot enabled, or again the M365 with Copilot. I mean, there's so many things that are getting thrown out there. Now, if we don't have governance in place about enabling those SaaS softwares and the AI capabilities that are readily being made available, then we're gonna be in a very tricky spot. But we should embrace that again and make that a quick win. For example, our company is global and we're in 20 different countries, sell our products in 80 different countries. And we're using this AI product called Hey Gen, right? And what it does is it takes videos in any language and it can dub it into any other language. And what that used to be a process where we would spend like $5,000 on an external vendor. That would take 3 weeks to do it. And it would come back and the lips are off and everything like that. And now this is doing it for us within a half an hour. And it's awesome, all right? And so products like that are out there. We've implemented it. They're out there for us to use. And so again, quick win is a huge part. We need to embrace and show outcome, and that is an outcome that's there. We're also looking at our metrics and publishing them on a regular basis about Copilot. Microsoft's like definition of someone who regularly uses Copilot, actually, this is their definition, is that someone who uses it 4 times in a month is called an active user. You know, that's not an active user. I mean, we need to have better metrics than that. And finally, I'll end with this, is that comes with having a very robust data and AI literacy, right? Like everyone hearing about it, we're all using it on our personal basis, right? Like we all have, again, ChatGPT on our phones and we're doing it for a regular basis. So inevitably, people want to do it at work as well, right? So, but there are those that maybe have not embraced it. But if we have a robust AI literacy campaign, that we're doing lunch and learns, we're doing training sessions. When I started at this company 5 months ago, I had 50 trainings that I had to do, right? But there was nothing telling me about Gen AI or AI and its usage. That should be one of the required trainings that every person has to take about its capabilities, about the tools that are out there and how it can make us more productive. So when you talk about outcomes, again, I go back to quick wins, and showing metrics around that and how that's improving productivity or whatever else. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a great point. Like you almost need an AI for Dummies course, right? Because you guys understand this, right? But you're in technology, this is your language. Probably 90% of the organization is like, well, that's kind of that AI stuff. So you got to kind of break it down, simplify it. If you get some success at my wife's organization, they they have a thing called working out aloud, right? If you get that success, tell people about it, and they're kind of then they'll jump on board.
As part of that literacy, make champions across the different functional areas. Don't make AI an IT function. I mean, I found some of the biggest users of agentic AI and are my business partners, and that sells way more than someone in IT sitting there and telling you use this tool or use that tool. So champions are huge.
So we got about 4 minutes left. Questions? Okay. Yes, sir.
Just one quick tip, right? I guess everybody's been saying humans are the hardest. What good shortcut have you found to help drive the human side? I know you guys spoke a little bit about it, but just any good shortcuts?
Yeah, I can take
Repeat
that.
that for the people in the back. What are some shortcuts for?
Humans are the hardest.
Yeah,
Management.
change.
Thanks.
Yeah, like them.
Yeah, if we didn't have people, it'd be so easy, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Sure would. Doesn't work that way.
Yeah, so one thing we did at MetLife is, we are one of the early adopters almost a couple of years ago. And at the beginning, we sticked it to Microsoft Copilot because we had a partnership with Microsoft. We created some training modules. And then once those training modules were released, we made an announcement that, we are going to release a hackathon in 3 months. And that created the enthusiasm that's required for people to jump in. So anybody could participate. I mean, anybody can access the training modules, and then you have to go through a certification process or a small test to see that, if you want to be able to participate in the hackathon. And we got, of course, MetLife is a global company, but we got about 100 teams that has, come up with their proposals of, a use case that they want to try it out in the hackathon. And everybody, obviously has access to the Copilot and everything. And after 3 months, during the hackathon process that ran for about a couple of months, 2.5 months or so, we narrowed it down to 10 use cases and then graded all the 10 with experts, and then picked the top 3 and tried to roll it out into production on a use case basis. But that created the necessary, the training module created the necessary the literacy aspects, and then the hackathon created the enthusiasm that's required for people to be able to participate and or wanting to participate. At least those who are excited about it.
Anybody can participate in hackathons as long as they did the training?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was the
And then
other
your use
question-
cases are
Was your-
prioritized. Yeah.
Here, let me bring you a mic.
I think we got a 1 minute left from our second city expert here.
Yeah, we got it.
Thank you so much for, I'm going to be the most hated guy here for keeping you away from lunch, but just wanted to touch on a couple of points. It's a great question that the gentleman asked here. Sorry, I apologize, I don't know your name yet, but a couple of things that Sean touched upon, Say touched upon is basically, we don't fail, we'll learn about platform and data. Ramon earlier talked about that I could build a scalable platform and bring you all the data. Again, building on the process is a one part, but people aspect again. Leading platform and data engineering was easy till they said build a data strategy around AI, right? So the hardest part around building a data strategy around AI is putting a governance in place, and there's a lot of fear, but people don't understand that within fear there's opportunities also. With that said, Sayed and Sean and Anubhav and Vijay will kind of open this up to all of you. Where do you put people in the data strategy? Because as we moved on from 2020 to 2025, we went from, AI is coming, and then we just sped past through Gen AI, and now agentic AI. Reason I ask this question is, people are still deterministic in their approach. They're still thinking, the leaders are still thinking that if I bring agentic AI, it's going to speed up process, save money. Those are byproducts. What they're not realizing is they're hiring me and you as intelligence. So my architecture is shifting from capability matrix to incorporating of augmentation of intelligence. And that is a hard aspect of my leaders to understand the fact, because for so many years we've been doing AI, BI. That's one aspect. The second aspect is data leaders have been so accustomed to seeing ROIs on their BI projects right away, but with AI, it's a slow progressing growth. We don't know where it's headed. Now with agentic AI coming in picture, they're failing to define goals, right? So let me just kind of give an example. AlphaGo 2016 was able to defeat Lee Sedol, right? There was a move called, I think, 3839. It was not programmed for, but it learned, adapted, and worked on intelligence. The information is given to it. The hardest part that I'm having right now is to define the data strategy encompassing the people aspect. Like, how do I make them non-deterministic? I can get you the data, platform is all scalable, right? And then what's the model with people that's going to really work in the data strategy aspect?
Okay.
Could you repeat that?
No. Look, I'm gonna repeat that. I'm gonna repeat that. Like, think about it. It's a moving target, right? We're shooting at a moving target that is moving really fast. So I think we got to wrap it up here. We had some great comments about quick wins. Great comment about catching up with your employees, right? Because they're in this all day. Start small, sell success, the people side, the governance side, and it's a moving target. So what do you think, boss? Breakfast?
We're going to just have a light breakfast because it'll be lunch in 2 hours, all right? So, or you can eat as much as you want and blow off lunch and just talk.
Okay, thanks.
We love to give you people options. That's why we put them so close together. I don't know who thought that was a